So what I'm gonna do is here. Oh, here.
Here we go. So
Julie, can you see the Mighty platform?
Yes, I can.
So I'll just say a quick hi to everybody since we're
Okay.
recording this. And I'm Diane Silverman. I'm Executive Director at Quorum. And today we're delighted that Gitanjali Sakhuja, who is our community platform host, is going to tell us a little bit about how we can work with the community platform, the Mighty platform, and make the most of it and get a lot out of it because it has a lot of potential for us. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Gitanjali. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. Hi, Julie. Hi, Liz. Oh, wow. It's a doorbell. It rings. Fantastic. So Diane, I'm gonna let people in, and then since it's such a small group, I am hoping that you all feel comfortable to interrupt me and ask me to slow down or go back and show you a feature. But I'm gonna just preface this session today by just letting you know what you see on the screen and in the platform is going to look different because I have admin rights. So don't be baffled when you are if I'm running through things that you say, I don't see that. Just let me know sort of where you are and what you will see. But starting with the platform and why we actually chose to have a platform was listening to folks as they were coming to different events that they wanted a place where we could actually continue to have conversations with members, right? To get to know members more so, to be plugged into different events, but to also access a lot of the resources that Quorum has, and then this community itself has, right? I mean, so those are some of the initial objectives behind this platform. Now, you all should have received an email from the Mighty Networks platform that is inviting you to what we call our community platform. Yeah. Has anyone here not received that link?
Received it.
Good. Okay, great. Then what happens when you get that link? It's your private link that will allow you to set up a profile or to basically to log in and create sort of your email and then a password associated with, right? You should arrive to a landing page that kind of looks like this here on the right-hand side of my screen, which will give you a little bit of an intro of what this platform is about. And then it's kind of like our door, right? And then to welcome you into the platform itself. What we have.
If I could add, I'm sorry, Gitanjali, if anybody's listening to this recording later and they have not received an invite, they can reach out to me and I'll make sure that I get you in touch with Gitanjali.
Absolutely.
So my apologies.
So there is a link that is, again, your direct link into the platform. And then secondly, there is a QR code. So you can also access the platform via the QR code. And then we'll get into a little bit the fact that there is the capability to access the platform on your desktop, and then similarly also onto your phone.
Gitanjali,
if I'm the question.
Yeah, sorry, I'm eating my lunch, so I turned my camera off. But
fine.
I didn't think I had received the email, so I was like digging through my inbox, and then I just went on the Mighty Networks and put in my email to see if they could just resend me the email. And it looks like mine says no networks found. So I wonder if I'm the only one that hasn't received the email, or if maybe for whatever reason not everyone has gotten the email because it doesn't.
Why don't you do this? I will take note of you and then just make sure that I have the correct email for you, or in the chat, if you want to drop the email,
Yeah, let me do
and
that.
I can make sure, yeah? Because
Perfect.
per person, it will allow one email address. Yeah.
Got it.
So if
That
it
makes
is,
sense.
if it is, for example, the email that Diane might have on her listserv and say it's your work address and you don't want that to be, you know, your primary conduit to get in, and you have a personal email address, we can switch that.
Got it. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I'll ping you I'll put it in a chat what my email
Okay,
is.
perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. So what does this platform give you? Yeah. What you get is, again, at the place where you enter, and everybody, once they come in for the very first time, comes into what we call our village square, which is our welcome hub. Yeah. And in this welcome hub, you will see that there are a number of sort of articles, if you will, one greeting you, guiding you on sort of the things that you need to get started. First and foremost, if you don't like to receive a lot of messages from the system and you feel like this is going to consume too much of your time, don't worry, you have a means to adjust the notifications that suit the way that you want to receive them. What the system has on default is to receive daily digest. So if that frequency doesn't jive for you, you're welcome to go in and switch that off. The other capability that you get is you have the ability to download Mighty onto your phone. And what it looks like on your phone, I don't know if you can see my screen. No, because it's blurring. There's a tiny little icon for Mighty, and it's again directing you straight to the platform. Same sort of look and feel, just personal preference of where you would like to receive your information, if you prefer on the desktop versus the app. And then once you set your notifications, you don't need to do it differently on the phone versus on the desktop version. And then what we ask you to do is make sure that you set up your profile. I'll show you how that can be done. And then what you will see on the platform right here in the left-hand panel where it says latest activity, popular events, and member directory. This is essentially your personal hub, right? What that means is Mighty, the platform is queuing up specific to you, the spaces and the channels that you have access to. Yeah. So in latest activity, it's pulling through, if you will, kind of like your feed, right? What's the latest chatter that is going on across the Mighty platform? Yeah. So for example, here in latest feed, I can see the weekly Monday question that is been posted. I can see sort of all other articles, and I can filter how I want to see the feed, and I can sort by how I want to see the feed. Yeah. Under popular, you get a slightly different view. You get a welcome checklist, and this will be part of your checklist. So it's a number of tasks that the platform we've set up for the platform to be able to ask you to do so that you can become a little bit more familiar. For example, like setting up your profile, kind of an important thing if you want people to get to know a little bit about you. What is that representation of yourself that you are sharing within the community? And again, things like how to adjust your notifications, how to download the app, how you can cheer and sort of comment, like things in the platform, how you can RSVP to an event. It goes through a very sort of systematic a set of functionalities that the platform offers. And then if there's any featured post things that we want to draw your attention to, those will be curated in the featured section here. And then you would also be able to see upcoming events, and I won't go into the bottom half because that's not relevant to you. In the events tab here, you will see events that are upcoming. Now, I'll go into this a little bit later, but we've parsed out what are upcoming events and then where the past events have gone. Yeah. So if you've missed an event and you want to see a recording for something, I'll show you how to get to that place. But this is essentially trying to keep all the freshest content in one place to make it easy for that navigation. Yes, Diane.
Sorry, I don't even know where the raise hand thing is.
It's
So,
okay.
sorry, puppy, groaning in the background. A lot of times Liz has, comedy shows coming up in New York, which would be fun for the New York community to know about. And I send those out when she shares them with me, but sometimes it doesn't coincide with the newsletter. But it would be fun for Liz to be able to drop that into our New York chapter news.
Absolutely.
On this, could you show
Absolutely.
us
I'll go
slash
through the
Liz?
chapter neighborhoods, but I can jump to that question already. So
Okay,
Liz,
thank
for
you.
example, here on New York City, on the chapter neighborhood that you're a part of, for example, here there's already, there was a post about you. Yeah. And then what you could actually do very easily is up here at the top, you toggle and then you go to create and you can create an event. So you can populate for the New York City chapter when and where you are having shows. So folks can come out to see you, to celebrate you, to cheer you on, to support you. Yeah.
Great, great. I will definitely use that feature. Thank you, Diane.
Oh, yeah. And then Amy, I could see Amy is multitasking here. Hi, Amy. Hi there. Oh, there
Sorry
she goes.
about that.
Oh, no worries. Amy, just this will be important for you too, because you do so many things with the YMCA Chinatown in New York. Gitanjali was showing Liz and everyone ways to create events on the Mighty platform. So it's a great way for you to get word out about events that you're a part of that Quorum members might be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You can post these on the platform as well. I don't know if you want to see that again quickly or what works.
I don't know how many people are on here. Sorry, I joined late, but
Oh,
yeah,
no
if you
worries.
have the time, quick
Yeah.
review would be great.
Yeah. So hi Amy. So one way to do so, specific to sort of corral to the geographical sort of chapter that you belong to. So specifically for New York City, you would go into your New York City chapter and then up at the top here where it says create, you toggle that button and then you get a drop down in terms of what it is that you can do. Yeah.
Okay.
So here you could create an event, for example. So if I go in here and I say, yeah, Liz's next show, I can put in the date, the time. I can say that it's local because it's going to be at let's say the Comedy Strip. Yeah. I can put in the address, I can put in a link here if there's a place to get tickets. I would restrict RSVPs here because that's not necessary. But you can add an event, you can add in a little description, Liz, and then you basically just say post. Yeah.
That's fair. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
So,
Okay, good.
yeah,
And
so
then-
if you have, like with Facebook and Instagram, if you've got a photo on your phone, you can just go to your photos and drop.
Absolutely.
So that's-
Absolutely.
Works
So
the same way.
it's a very straightforward kind of form that you are filling out, the date, location, the time, if you want RSVPs. if you have a description, if you have a photo that you want to tag along, and then if you see here, a nice feature is you can add this directly to your calendar, so it can sync to wherever you do all of your normal sort of programming for your days, weeks, months, events. If there is, for example, then a location, you can get directions. So it makes it very easy for other members to get an idea.
Right.
Okay, and if Evelyn is based in Philly, which is close to New York, but if she wanted to post something that, say, BRG is doing that might be helpful to multiple members, is there a way to do it for
Absolutely.
everyone so that it's not just a chapter event?
Absolutely. So I'm just gonna go back to the left-hand panel. So just once again, so at the top here, these icons here are your sort of, take it as like your global portal, right? Like your personal portal into the Mighty space. What you also have a capability of doing, if you notice this at the top to create, you can also create something to post, and then you can choose on the basis of which tabs are available to you, what spaces are available to you. Now, as a default, all members have access to Welcome, the Village Square, to Main Street, which is the Quorum Cafe, which is the global hub for the entire Quorum community across the globe. Yeah. Each member should also have access to a chapter neighborhood. There is a few exceptions of some members that have access to multiple neighborhoods because they're, say they're between Narrowsburg and New York City, or they travel frequently between London, New York. That's all worked out with Diane. I just get a list of who to associate which member to. Yeah. So you'll have a chapter neighborhood that's specific to you, and then you also would have access to the resource library and archives. Yeah. So to your question, Diane, if Evelyn then has an event that's relevant for the entire Quorum community, you could travel to the Quorum Cafe. At the top here, you would be, actually, sorry, all members don't have access to create events, but you could create, for example, a quick post, which is, it gives you a tiny little space here to draft your thoughts and then share. You can add in a photo, you can add in a link, and then you hit at the top here, post. Yeah. And if you're not ready to post, there's also a way to schedule a post. Very similar in terms of like how the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the LinkedIn and all also sort of operate. Yeah.
Gitanjali, is there a link to open up like a calendar either in Google or in Outlook or something like that and add an event into your calendar?
Yeah. So for example, here, if I take this one, the strategies for negotiation for women, I've RSVP'd that I'm going, and then I can click here, add to calendar, and then it's going to give me a place. Where do you want to add it to? Do you want the ICS to add it across some calendar that's not available here, right?
That's perfect.
You
Yeah,
see the
thank you.
options here? Yeah, so you can already sort of move things over to your calendar, so you don't have to come back here to find it. If you have enabled notifications, what you might get on the desktop or what you might get on the app is you've got an event upcoming or your event's coming up in a day. Yeah, so you can again set that frequency.
Sorry, I had a question.
Yep.
Can you upload a PDF? Is it PDF friendly?
It is, let's see. So if I have a quick post.
So I have an article I'd like to share.
Here through video or file. And then I can choose
Okay, I'll get a link to the PDF. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then I guess just to be more specific too, or I guess I would say Evelyn, or if you or anyone wants to post an event and you find that you don't have the capability, you can reach out to Gitanjali or me and we can help, because we want to make this a way for everybody to stay connected and let each other know what's going on inside and outside of Quorum. So just to make sure people know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With one ask, however, that we, you know, to ensure that this doesn't become a mess, we've just asked for there to be some thought behind what is being posted and where, right? So we don't have to move things along, and then it's a lot of irrelevant things for folks that, if they're not in that geography, London doesn't, for example, need to see a whole slew of New York events. Yeah. So to just kind of keep that front of mind. But so again, essentially back on Main Street, think of then Quorum, the Quorum Cafe as the global hub, which is where all members by default have access to. Yeah. As I was saying earlier, with regards to events in the Quorum Cafe, for example, you will see here on events, only upcoming events will be published here. Yeah. So this will give you a sense of all the things that are coming as far out as we know. By nearby, if there is something that is say for example, that is scheduled to be local, based on where my location setting is, nothing is showing up as nearby to me. And then past events, these have been archived to the resource library and archives. Yeah. And if there are any events that you've RSVP'd to, you would be able to see what your events are. Yes, Evelyn.
This is super helpful. I like the nearby functionality. As we were talking about, you can post like Quorum official events, so to speak, and then other things that might be happening near you. Will there be a way to filter just like the things that Quorum's putting on versus other events? Or it's probably going to be all mixed together, but I didn't know if that there would be like a star or some sort of tag.
So that is to answer your question kind of bluntly, the events that are appearing then in the Quorum Cafe, those are Quorum events.
Okay.
Yeah. So non-Quorum events, then those would then be, which is why that functionality hasn't been rolled out across the members. Is then if there are non-Quorum events and they're relevant to a specific geography, then they can be posted in the chapter neighborhoods, else they can be posted as a quick post.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay,
So
that makes
here in
sense.
this, because what will happen is then it'll start tracking RSVPs, it'll start tracking who's going, and if you don't
Right.
want that administrative burden and on the back end, we as admins don't want that either. It's just to
Got it.
alleviate.
No, that makes sense. So these will be all the events that we'll see on the Quorum Cafe will all be Quorum events. And then if it's a quick post, that could be something else that happens to be relevant to all the Quorum
Absolutely.
members. Got it. Okay, that's helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So latest activity, again, what that does is that's essentially your feed. Popular, it's a different layout in terms of how to see events, sort of top posts where there is some traction, there are cheers, likes, comments, things of that nature will appear at the top. And then anything that we've kind of curated as an experience would show up in the featured section here. Yeah. So popular is just another way to view posts. Events we've talked about. Now there is a chat functionality here, which, as you can see, doesn't really have a any sort of like anything other than sort of very organic thinking and free flowing of conversation. It's a place to kind of, I guess, throw out an idea if you like, but it until just I think this last update that Mighty has done gives you the ability to reply to certain comments and then to try to maintain threads. So use it as you like. Again, noting that this is then available to everyone across Quorum. Yeah. Any questions up to here? We're on the Quorum Cafe still. No? Okay. Then the chapter neighborhoods have basically sort of a few functionalities. One, you get to see who else is in your chapter if you don't know. I'm still figuring out who's in the DC chapter. But as more and more sort of members come to Quorum, then I have the ability to see who are all the members that are associated with my chapter. As you can see, it's still slightly slim. I think New York City might have a bigger population of members here. So you can get a sense of who all is around in New York City. You can see who's near you. You can see who's new, who's recently joined, who's online now. It will toggle a little green button next to it. And then it will give you the ability to explore. So you can hover over people's bubbles and you can, check out their profiles as well too. Yeah. And then in New York City, if there's anything that has been posted across, you will see it in the latest activity. Again, that feed functionality. You will also be able to have chats within your chapter. And then you will see chapter specific events. And all the chapters, if you're curious, they're all set up the exact same way. Yeah. Hi, Sami.
Hi, Gitu. I just wanted to ask if you wanted to have visibility into events in another chapter without necessarily joining that neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
can you just view it, or do you have to always ask for access and then it might look as though you're a member of that neighborhood? Is there a way to join as a guest? So sometimes if I'm coming to DC, I might just check out, what's happening with the Quorum DC.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an if you would like. Yeah. If you
Okay.
would like that ability to see DC, there's I mean, it doesn't there's no extra cost associated with that. It's just trying to cultivate that community, or to get you to know who your community is. If you feel that you're moving back and forth, by all means, you're welcome to have access to that space. If you request it, it will be given to you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So then what would happen for you, Sami, if you are up here in the top left, it will be pulling for you in events coming off of Quorum Cafe, the global events. It will pull off New York's events, and it will pull off DC's events. Does
Got
that
it.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it becomes very personalized to you and what you can see. Yeah. So before we jump down to the resource library, I just want to go over, yes, Diane.
So, sorry, one more thing just before we go off of the events. Sami, please include the podcast you're going to be on in this. Sami's been getting an extraordinary amount of attention for her micro steps article and session. So I hope
Awesome.
you'll keep us posted on that, Sami.
I will. It is, I think it's scheduled. I have to, everything's in disarray this week, but I will put an update there.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Gitanjali. Thank you.
No, so fine. So fine. So I don't know if you can see at the top of my screen here, there is the chat button here. And what this does is it pops up the ability, you can have direct messaging. So if you don't want to have a fully fledged conversation in the chat on a specific space, you can DM a member. Yeah. You just go in here. So say I want to send a chat to, oh, so Evelyn, you weren't set up yet, but say I want to talk to Amy. I can click on Amy and then start having a conversation. Yeah. And then you basically kind of have a little bit of like a mailbox on the side. The little bell feature here is basically your notification. So if you disable it on your phone or on the desktop, you would have a place where it's going to pull up everything. And then you can quickly kind of do a scroll over, and this function here gives you the ability to tick everything as read. Yeah. Now if we go to where you wouldn't have an image yet until you create your profile. But what you would do in the account tab is go to personal settings. And you will get this sort of drop down here, and you will go to edit profile. And this is where you can add a photo of yourself. You can add a backdrop, your names, a short little bio. And this isn't the place to sort of tell your entire life story. That you can do in the About Me section, because this little mini bio is going to follow you around with your profile photo. Yeah. And then, you can give folks a little glimpse of who you are, and then also add in your LinkedIn, you've got the ability, I think, to add up to 10 links. So if you have your own business and have a website that you want to also share with the community, you can add that. You can add your location, so then it's able to figure out nearby events to you. You can format your time zone, and then at the bottom, it's going to show you all the spaces that you have access to. Yeah. And when you do that, always make sure that you hit save. I had some rude lessons initially when I was putting this together, that I would create a page and then forgot to hit save, and I would lose my page. Yeah. So just a reminder to do that. Here under personal settings is also how you can adjust your notifications, right? So you can disable that you don't want emails. If you want mobile push, your desktop, I've blocked mine. And then if I want notifications on anything else, I can calibrate what those are going to be. Yeah. And then you have here also the ability to download the app. So the same thing, you can, take a photo of the QR code, because you will always have it accessible if you've got the desktop version set up. Yeah. So that's about profiles, notifications. It would be awesome if folks get their profiles in. I think when you see, for example, here on member directory, we've got some faces that are floating around that are just the default that come from the system. Yeah. And then where you see the sort of faces being a little bit bigger, that all corresponds to the amount of activity that you've got on the platform. Yeah. So, for example, Diane is a little bit bigger than say Maddie, and that's because of Diane has more activity. Yeah. All right. The next sort of big collection space that all members have access to is our resource library and archives. And this we've tried to enable some degree of structure kind of coming into this platform to make it easy to find content. Again, this is all, we're still workshopping this entire platform. So if there's something that you don't see and would like to see, or think that something is better suited in a different place, please, all feedback is welcome. what happens off of the Quorum Cafe, about a month after, I start to move content over into the news archives. So if there are older posts, they will go here. Yeah, essentially that not a lot of our content we delete off, but it just moves to keep things the freshest in the freshest spot. Yeah, so it's less to have to sift and filter through. What I've just added last week is a channel or a space for reading recommendations. I know after a number of conversations, we tend to have a number of books or articles or podcasts or whatever you're tuning into or reading and want to share. This is a place to share that. A place to share any sort of interesting tools, tips, hacks, learns, things that you found that are making your life more efficient or effective, and you think, the folks in our community need to know. Here's a place to share that. What I mentioned with regards to events, past events, they will end up here in the video library where we have got recordings. Yeah. So for example, the most recent Quorum Live that where we had the technical difficulty, the recording is here. So you would find the recording here along with all sort of past recordings up until when this platform started. So would say sort of as far as December of 2023. Yeah. And a quick place to find those recordings. And then the last thing that's in the resource library is call it a bit of a frequently asked questions around Mighty specific. If you've got something that is outside of the Quorum community platform and you want to dig a little bit deeper on Mighty, for example, if you are very curious about their privacy policy, you want their version of how to RSVP to events, here's a place where you can get some shortcuts on how to be able to do so. Yeah, so it's a little go-to. And then down at the bottom, we've got a direct link to the external site, which will take you to Quorum Initiatives page on the internet. Yeah. Any questions? Can I ask then of you all, is there something you see here that you don't, that isn't here that you would like to see?
I can't think of anything, but one thing that I like that this offers is to see more of our membership and who's actually a part of Quorum Initiative. I feel like that's one of the big gaps for me prior to this platform. So I look forward to using that.
And we don't have all of our members on the platform yet. I think we're hovering right now at about 40% of our members have actually reacted to the links and signed up to be part of the platform. But this is again included in your membership, and then gives very much that ability to learn who else is a member and then to be able to connect with these members. Yeah. Anything you see that you don't like and want to get rid of, if it's a possibility for us to do that?
I don't see anything. I think it may take us all to kind of use it and explore it, and then maybe we'll have some ideas or comments that for changes. But for now, I think it's going to be a great tool.
Maybe another question is, what would all of these types of platforms. I know that there are so much that is at our fingertips these days, apps and everything that wants attention. So this platform also works if there is continued sort of engagement. If there are specific types of conversations that you want to have, or you want to be left alone to peruse, you know, please also share some of that feedback in terms of what your preferences are.
Well, I think this has been a fabulous introduction, and I know that Meg and I are both really excited about this. Evelyn, as you said, it's just a great way for everyone to find out, who else is a quorum member, because everyone is so busy, it's hard to get everybody together at the same time or on a single call. So I think the possibilities of this are amazing. So Gitanjali, thank you for setting us up for this and explaining it so well, and hosting it for us. We've recorded this session so that we will post it on the platform. And if you have any questions, you can reach out Gitanjali or to me, and then I would reach out to Gitanjali, of course. But I think this has been a fabulous start. So I will thank you again, Gitanjali, and thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be repeating this next Thursday, I believe, next week. I think it's the 20th. So if you want to just listen in again, just in case you missed it, it'll basically be the same thing. But if you want to hear it again, sometimes I need information repeated for me. But other than that, I think we'll just thank everybody for joining us and for being part of our community. And if you haven't already signed up for this week's negotiation session, please do that and mark your calendar for November 15th for our HOW Forum that's coming up. We have some extraordinary speakers who have already signed up, including a woman named Annalie Lee, who was just named one of the Time 100 for being one of the top influencers isn't the right word, for healthcare in the United States now. So we're very excited to have her. So anyway, with that, I will wish everybody a great day and a great week.